Well, our second semi-final today is between González of Chile and Berdych of the Czech Republic.
Tomás Berdych.
Best of 3 tie-break sets.
Silencio, por favor. Por favor. Por favor. Ready? Play. Silencio, por favor. Se lo pido, por favor.
Well, that's good to see that he's trying to quieten the crowd down. Well, that is very unfortunate that they would cheer that double fault. That is not sporting. And you know, he said about the incident yesterday that he felt he'd done nothing wrong, and I agree with him.
Well, and all it does actually is back up what Berdych said, that it was unsporting what was happening in the match, that they were cheering his double faults. It shouldn't happen in a regular tournament, and it reflects poorly on the Spanish.
Well, they're still at it. Well, the Spanish crowds can behave badly. When they won the Davis Cup against Australia in 2000, John Newcombe was moved to comment that the captain and his team and the crowd behaved poorly.
Well, if González is smart, he can actually work this crowd really well, get them right behind him. They already are, of course, but especially when it gets tight.
Probably thinks he's playing in Santiago. Well, at least they're applauding his ace, which is good. There'll be a lot of those, I fancy, tonight, or this afternoon, rather. Well, they will have discussed the potential problem of crowd support for his opponent. I'm quite sure of that. Was that called out? I think it was. It's González challenging it, apparently. And it was just out. Well, what a start. I mean, even in Davis Cup, I can't really remember anything more noisy than that in a first game.
Not in the first game. If you're in the latter stages of a fifth set in a deciding rubber, then maybe so. But in the first game of the match, even then, they have respect for the opposition. But none was shown in that opening game for Berdych.
It reflects poorly on the crowd, this, frankly.
It must be a long time since González has played a match where he's had so much support in a neutral venue.
Well, it could never have happened before.
Yes.
We'll ask him afterwards. Well, he's pretty sharp.
And I think that's one of the things he's tried to work on with Larry Stefanki, coming into the net a little bit more, trying to play some good aggressive all-court tennis rather than just staying at the back of the court and pounding those groundies.
Well, he'll be pleased that González has been quite unaffected by all the din and is timing the ball beautifully. That little half volley in the middle of that last game. And the cross-court backhand volley too. Very sharp.
Well, it's hard to remain confident when you get off to a start like this. As far as Berdych is concerned, he's not able to win points that he should be winning comfortably.
Well, here I'm telling them to keep quiet and be fair to both players. Umpire quite right to ask for respect for the players. Well, here is a fan of Berdych.
Now that's the one shot that can help silence the crowd. The serve needs to work well for Berdych today. He can earn a lot of cheap points with it, and it also helps to set the point up nicely for those big bludgeoning ground strokes thereafter.
Yes.
I shall be surprised if it really does affect him, all this, frankly. I think he'll settle down and give us a good performance.
Yeah, it's just a question of how long it takes him to settle down, get a good service game under his belt here. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Good return, deep. Yeah, that's too good. So he has got his name on the scoreboard, and will, I'm sure, now come to terms with all this noise and give us a fine performance. González too.
I think that's the key. Just got to try and settle down as quickly as possible and play the ball, not the opponent or the occasion. And I'm sure that he's got enough experience to draw upon that he'll be able to do that. Just an unfortunate start for him, dropping that opening service game. It must have been quite disconcerting. It doesn't matter how confident you are, how arrogant you are. I'm not sure he would have expected such a violent reaction. As you said earlier, John, not many of these people would have perhaps been here yesterday, but they would have read about it in the newspaper. And Nadal was quite scathing in his comments afterwards. They will have been widely reported. So a lot of people probably coming here today with the knowledge and not a particularly open mind. And that was the end result, that opening service game. But I think now he'll start to feel a little bit better. And by midway through the opening set, he should be able to play his best tennis.
Well, one of the things about Berdych is that now he doesn't have very many claw patches, at least indoors.
Time.
And his win in Paris last year, the first Masters Series for his name, was, I think, a big career boost. And it helped him to believe in himself as the equal of all those ranked above him. And he's proved that here formidably. Nearly a direct hit on him. I think he did hit him on the back. And I think if you think about this man's game, you'll realize that he too is a little less prone to violent errors or stupid errors. Second ace from González and 3-1.
Both these guys relatively similar in a couple of respects. They're both terrific ball strikers, but both have matured nicely over the last couple of seasons into much better match players.
Well, the serve is the basis of all his good work. It enables him to get the momentum going in the rally. So I think Jason will be watching the number of first serves he gets in and how many he wins when he does get it in.
And he does that generally by backing it up really nicely with forceful ground strokes.
You were saying? Well, it does make the game quite easy if you can get a good serve in and a soft reply like that, even though it was deep. Fairly easy winner. 3-2 González.
Well, it's interesting, just talking in a little more detail about the changes that González has made this year under Stefanki. I think one of them is that he's a bit more consistent now. He doesn't hit every ball as hard as he can. He used to do that most of the time. He's using the slice backhand more, mixing up the pace from the back of the court. And he's actually coming into the net more as well. He's been selective in terms of the approach shot, but when he feels he's got a good chance to win the point, he's not adverse to moving into the forecourt. So Stefanki's done a really good job with him, just fine-tuning his game plan a little bit. And the serve too is not hit hard all the time. He uses the three-quarter pace first serve much more, so he gets a higher percentage in. Today already the first serve percentage is healthy at 70%, and he's winning 86% of the points. So it works well. So it's just been a fine-tuning, nothing major, but it's been effective.
Well, we've seen improvement in both these men over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, which is why they are knocking the top 10. González, in fact, a career high at the moment. He is number 10 in the world on the entry computer. And challenging hard, both these fellows, for a place in Shanghai. Quite quick, 206 kph. Anything over 200 is difficult for the receiver. Has about half a second to see the ball on return.
What's also tough, or much tougher for a returner, is when the server doesn't serve the same pace all the time. If you do serve always at 200k, then the body reacts positively to it, and it's easier to get the ball back in play. If you vary the pace, it's a lot tougher. And there's a good example. That serve that set the point up nicely for González, only 164 kilometers an hour. And again, the short ball allowed him to come into the net. He does have good feel with the little drop volleys and the drop shots, and he knows when the right time to play those drop shots is.
Oh, a lovely early ball there. Well, he's maintained a high level from the very first ball.
10 of 11 points so far on serve when the first serve has found its mark. And he's only missed 3 of those first serves so far, so it's good stuff.
Yes, por favor.
Starting to warm up nicely from the back of the court now too. The forehand is the bigger of the 2 ground strokes. He can generate a lot of pace off the backhand as well, but this is the shot that will do the most damage.
González surprising him by the quality of his returning on the first serve, I must say. There's the unforced errors from Berdych. He's got 10 already. Well, now in Davis Cup, the referee is empowered to remove from the stadium anybody who deliberately tries to upset any of the players.
Of course, you can get punished also with penalty points.
Yeah. Well, his returning of the serve is quite wonderful at the moment, González. Getting in 63% of first serves, which is healthy. Berdych was only winning 53% of it. Which tells you how well González has been returning.
Good recovery from 15-40. The serve opening up the court. And after it was relatively simple to execute the next two shots because of the quality of the serve.
So a fourth ace for the Czech. Keeps him in the hunt. Nearly 2 breaks down. That wouldn't have been too good, would it? But it isn't. It's 4-3 for González.
Very important service game for Berdych to win. The serve a little more pacey than his opponents. The average speed of it is 206 kilometers an hour. That's about 26k faster than González's. It's not quite as effective as he would have wanted, and González is getting a lot of returns in play. Berdych would expect to win the vast majority of points when the first serve goes in, but he's only won 10 of 17 so far, so González has done a good job when returning, and also on serve too. Although the average speed of the first serve isn't anywhere near as pacey as his opponents, it's accurate and he varies it nicely too, so you would expect his first serve percentage to be a little higher because it's not quite as pacey, but it is much more effective. So far he's only lost 1 point when the first serve has gone in, so Berdych certainly will have his work cut out to break serve.
It's difficult for the players to concentrate, I would have thought, through this barrage of noise we get at the change of ends from the band, but it is the modern way. We hear it more and more. The US Open is cacophony between the end of one game and the start of the next at the changes of ends. Change of balls for the first time. 4-3. Well, he's never taken a set from González. Of course, that's the other factor we mustn't forget. 4 sets he's lost in the 2 matches played. And until you've beaten somebody, Jason, that mental baggage is difficult to get rid of.
No doubt about it. And that's very, very different to the confidence that he would have had going into the match with Nadal yesterday evening, having beaten him the last 2 times they've played.
González is playing like a man who's expecting to win, playing very confidently. Another ace. He's ahead now of Berdych, and we didn't really expect that. 5-4. Well, a deadly accuracy about González today. He's teeing off and making it.
Well, he does it with a lot of spin, but he can also flatten the ball out nicely. That last one, 152 kilometers an hour. Berdych loves to take the ball early on the rise, something he did exceptionally well yesterday evening against Nadal.
The difference here is that Nadal last night was playing yards behind the baseline in his rallies. González is standing up close to the baseline, taking the ball early and giving Berdych no time. He's surprised him once or twice in some early returns. And clearly it's unsettling Berdych. So perhaps I was wrong that the effect of the crowd would be soon a thing of the past. I think he's still rattled. He's certainly rattled. Serving a double fault to give González 2 set points. Well, thing here is not to panic. Again, the ball coming back unexpectedly early. Very good play from González, and the Chilean fans dancing with delight. After 28 minutes, it's González 6-3.
Well, I don't think we expected González to win the opening set as comfortably as he ended up doing. And the good news, as far as he's concerned, is he didn't do anything out of the ordinary. He just played a very solid set, got a lot of first serves in, did the basics well, kept the unforced error count nice and low, managed to hit a few winning shots, but not a great deal, but did play the big points well, managed to get a couple of breaks of serve under his belt. But the quality and effectiveness of the first serve was absolutely outstanding. The variation was good in terms of pace, direction and spin. Berdych usually returns serve well, and it just shows you that if you do vary your serve, it can be hard, even for great players, to get a lead on where you're trying to hit the ball, and therefore you can have a lot of success on your serve without hitting the cover off the ball. So Very, very good set as far as González was concerned. Berdych needs a positive response to the loss of it right now.
Well, some González winners to admire once again. There were plenty of them. Well, that was how the set ended. A look of terrific determination on the face of González, who emotes nicely always. He's a great character to watch. You know exactly how he's feeling, don't you? Here's the second set. Perfect start. For the sixth ace. Don't think there's much doubt that it was, yes, that's right. In, you see, a little bit of slicing. Well, he's rattled. I was quite wrong. I thought he would settle down and actually enjoy the contest with the crowd, and he knows for his man he's just a little bit unsettled. And to make things worse, González is having a terrific day. He needs a break of serve, doesn't he, to get him going. Rallies are really mental battles going on. Backhand to backhand, backhand to... Who is going to crack first and try something different? Well, it was González and he failed. So a little mental victory there for Berdych. Challenge, I don't think. Oh, he has challenged. Okay, well, let's see where it did bounce. I think it was probably in. It was. So there he is.
Well, González is serving exceptionally well. He's only lost 4 points on serve so far. Look at the accuracy of both the first and the second. Some really nice slice serves out wide to take Berdych out of court. Some great grouping up the tee when serving both to the right and the left court. And then those serves when serving to Berdych's backhand's nice and short too. It's good stuff.
What's happened here is that he started against the hostile crowd, was shell-shocked, hasn't really recovered, needs to get his teeth into the match. He's not really in it yet.
Berdych is the type of player that really likes to assert his authority early on in a match. He likes to dictate the vast majority of the points and force his opponent onto the back foot like he did against Nadal, and it simply hasn't happened yet for him today.
Well, resignation on the face of his coach. Well, it's all errors from Berdych now. González has been very smart, getting the back ball quickly and forcing Berdych to hurry his shots. He's missed them.
And he hasn't given Berdych any pace to feed off as well, particularly off the backhand. He's used that slice really well, just floating the ball back deeply. And Berdych has found it difficult to deal with that.
Well, 8 aces now. Well, he'll be hoping that the Chilean storm will soon blow itself out. If it doesn't, he's gone. Just about the first one of that type that he's missed. Perhaps the storm will start to blow itself out. I mean, he can't play any better than this. He's fantastic at the moment, González. He might suddenly wake up and realise that he's leading 6-3-3 love. A little bit of an interruption, somebody being helped from the stands there. So he's saying, will he get a let? He will, because it's an interruption of the point by something that's not connected with the game. So he will see 2 serves. Replay the point. González, and playing marvellous tennis for a 6-3 three-run lead.
Well, I think you made a good point in that last game. At some stage, González is going to think, well, I've given these fans so much to cheer about so far, but can I keep it up? Will there be a response from Berdych, and will there be a response when I realise the finish line is so very close and I'm going to go through to my first Masters Series final? I think there must be some kind of response. We've seen it in González's game time and time again where he has got tight. So the question remains, will Berdych be playing well enough to be able to do something about it and take that half chance, which undoubtedly will come his way at some stage?
That's a very good question. Lovely.
Tiempo. Siéntense rápidamente, por favor.
Well, it can hardly be worse, could it? 3-6, love 3 as he serves, and no confidence at all. That'll come down with snow on it, I think.
15 love.
15 love. Well, that a forced error. Didn't quite have time to get there, but he's only made 6 forced errors, González, in the match. And he has forced Berdych 10 times into error. This gives you some idea of the quality of González' play today. It's apart from the unforced errors, and as we know, been too many from Berdych. Of those 19 to 9 from González. Well, he hasn't been allowed at all to settle into his pattern of play. They are the unforced and the forced for you. I'd be amazed if González can keep this standard up. And he's played at full throttle from the start and hasn't really made any important errors, which is remarkable.
And he's bound to get a little tight as the finish line draws ever closer, and it's just a question of whether Berdych will be able to play well enough when he gets that half chance to make the most of it.
He's had no chance at all on the González serve. He hasn't reached break point. He's got to set about this service game with hope. Nadal couldn't do this to Berdych yesterday.
15.
And Nadal's forehands just as fierce as this man's. Because he was standing further back, that's why. It's formidable, this.
Really good footwork, because Berdych is trying to get the ball to González's backhand, but he just simply isn't able to do so. Still serving very well. 77% of first serves in this set.
And winning 89% of the time when they go in. Well, he's out thinking him, he's out hitting him, he's got him totally tied up mentally. And you can see how it is that in their previous two matches it was straight sets without going to an advantage set. And yet another ace, 9 now. Berdych has served only 4, and his serve is his major weapon. That is serious for the Czech. 4-1 now for González.
Well, González has served exceptionally well, and it's interesting to note that when Larry Stefanki started working with Tim Henman, told him to take a bit of pace off the first serve. It's exactly what González has done here. He's mixed it up nicely, but he's still able to serve aces because the variation is so good. And sometimes he does bring the heat. He does get above 200k. But on other occasions, it drops down 10 to 15 kilometers an hour, and that means he's got a better chance of getting it in. But the grouping on the first serve is absolutely outstanding. He's varying it just enough to keep Berdych guessing, and on the left of your screen there, those balls are dropping a little shorter because he puts topspin on those, and that moves Berdych wide of the single sideline. The seconds have dropped a little shorter and obviously aren't quite as pacey, but they've still been good enough. He's still winning 60% of the points when he misses the first serve. It's been really, really good performance by González when he's stepped up to the line to serve so far.
Well, I have to say, I don't remember seeing González play as well as this for as long as this. I've seen him play as well in patches, but that is what is so good about him. He's discreet about his attacking moments now. He's not stupidly trying to hit outrageous winners like he used to. Thanks to Frankie for that, I think. 1-4.
The mixture of sliced shots with very little pace, high topspin forehands, so Berdych can't take the ball early, or finds it a little more difficult to take the ball early, and then the change of pace at the end.
A line clipper, I think. Berdych being challenged. I don't think he's totally convinced. He was just hoping that that was going to be called long, the way he looked at the linesman. And there you are, it's caught the edge of the line.
Never has the official review been so popular.
Yes. Por favor. Silencio, por favor.
This is a wonderful performance, you know, from González. He's now got Berdych totally confused, doesn't know how to play him. 3 break points for 5-1. Well, who would have thought that?
Yes.
Oh. Well, we must ask González after what it feels like on cloud 9. The unsmiling Stefanki just glowing inside, I'm quite sure. Five games to 1. González leads second set. When he's never been in the final of a Masters Series event, he won't have a better chance. I think he'll have to fall down with a broken leg now to fail. Oh. It's as good as over.
And the performance has all been based around this variation on serve. Absolutely outstanding. There's no doubt about the fact that Stefanki has had a very positive influence on González in the last few months, and he's bearing fruit now.
The perfect slice delivery has produced 3 match points. That's it. Well, that was as good a performance for consistency, for power, for correct tactics as you'll wish to see. And his coach, the first to be on his feet, to congratulate him along with the large contingent of Chilean supporters who have been here all week cheering him on, hoping to see that at last he will become the bridegroom and not the best man. 5 times. Listen to this. Booing Berdych. That is quite unnecessary. But 5 times he has been in semi-finals, and never before until this moment has he gone through to a final. And on this form, well, he could test the world #1 Roger Federer thoroughly. A great performance, 52 minutes and 6-3, 6-1.
Well, it was a difficult afternoon at the office for Tomás Berdych, but a terrific one for González. He won't play a better match than that on such a big occasion. Remember, he'd never been through to a Masters Series final before. He had lost at the semi-final stage on numerous occasions, 3 times in fact this year and twice previously, so it was a huge match for him, and for him to be able to execute his game plan as well as he was able to do this afternoon will give him a great deal of confidence going through to tomorrow's final. He'll have to serve as well as he did today tomorrow to stand a chance of beating Federer. The first serve percentage was excellent. He varied the pace, the direction and the type of spin that he tried to put on the ball so very well when he stepped up to the line, and he was rewarded by winning the vast majority of points on serve. Only lost 3 on first serve and 4 on second serve throughout the entire match, and that's against a player that returns serve exceptionally well. Berdych never really showed up this afternoon. Certainly wasn't the same player that beat Rafael Nadal last night. We'll have to wait and see how big an effect the crowd had on his performance. He'll certainly be asked the pertinent questions after the match, but that won't worry González. He's through to his very first Masters Series final, and deservedly so.
Well, it was a whirlwind performance. No other word would describe it. He was red hot from the start and blew his opponent away, partly, I think, because of the effect of the crowd in that opening game when they booed him and it unnerved him. I was wrong. I thought he would throw that off and even relish the challenge, but it wasn't to be. González did not allow it.